And welcome back, everyone. It's the week of Who Would Win, right after the week of What If, and we have from Geotrix Who Would Win in a Fight? Yog Sothoth from the H.P. Lovecraft mythos versus the Scarlet King from the SCP mythos. So, two cosmic entities who really are some of the top tier in their verse. Yog Sothoth is said to be almost on par, sometimes even surpassing, I believe it's Azeroth, who was like the true, like the head, like the true outer god. I believe he's the one. You can correct me on this if I'm wrong. Who is so like a reality shattering and a reality warping that we are in essence a dream he is having. He's sleeping and slumbering. If he wakes up, we cease to exist. I believe that's who he is. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, Yog Sothoth basically kind of is considered to be is like either just below or on par with him, or sometimes even considered to be above him. But the problem is the H.P. Lovecraft mythos varies kind of in its interpretations of these like deities and beings. That's a little difficult. But that being said, he has omnipresence, omniscience, reality warping, all the standard elder gods kind of powers. He is the gate. He guards the gate. He is the gate. That's his shtick. All that. And the Scarlet King, affectionately oftentimes referred to as SCP-001. Although his SCP, like who SCP-001 actually is, or what it is up for whichever version of the SCP lore you subscribe to, because there are different versions of the SCP lore when it comes to like the very first SCP. Scarlet King is sometimes considered among them, but he is essentially a being that was born from our collective disdain for the modern world, and therefore because he is powered by that human concept and emotion, he exists essentially within the neurosphere, which is a collective what's the best way to put it, a reality or a dimension of collective knowledge. Individuals who are kind of conjured into being through thinking, through thought. This is where they would exist into. This is a guy who has challenged the very concept of the multiverse on multiple occasions, has also challenged the very fictional capabilities of the SCP storylines to begin with, but is still ultimately defeated because he does not realize he is a fictional character, and therefore is still susceptible to plot manipulation, which is his biggest weakness, really. Although because he is dependent on humans, despite the fact he tries to end humanity on some level, he actually needs us to exist, because without us, like, he actually can't exist without us, more or less. So it's a weird symbiosis. The question really becomes, who wins in this battle of just conceptual monsters, more or less? And that is difficult to say, because neither have any clear-cut weaknesses. Yes, as the Scarlet King does I gotta think the best way to put this. He does have a broader reach in terms of the versal level scaling, theoretically, but this can also be tampered with. His powers have fluctuated and can fluctuate consistently. So because doesn't always have a consistent power level, that does make him hard to gauge in an actual fight with at least contemporary individuals on that level. Now, Yog Sothoth and a lot of the other outer gods still are not bound, but are still limited to their own realities to varying degrees, I think is the best way to put it. Just because they too are fictional characters, and therefore they do not reach outside of our mythos, outside of their own myth and reality and world. Regardless of how we interpret them, to be fair. To quote, like, Yog Sothoth knows the gate. He is the gate. As the key and guardian of the gate. Past, present, and future, all are one in Yog Sothoth. He knows where the old ones broke through He knows where the old ones broke through of old, and where they shall break through again. He knows where they have where they have trod, where they have trod earth fields. Okay, earth's fields, and where they still tread them, and why no one can behold them as they tread. Again, but that being said, he's still bound within his own universes, or realities, if you will, rules and laws, whereas SCP Scarlet King is not quite as bound, but but in terms of like defeat and how these guys kind of interact with each other, Scarlet King has been defeated more times because he is the big bad of the story as it's described, and therefore he's kind of designed to lose in the end, whereas Yog Sothoth is not. Because of the fluctuation in his level of power, depending on the circumstance, and because he is ultimately going to lose in the end, because he is the big bad, and that's what happens in fiction, I'll go Yog Sothoth because fiction, metaversal physics, and plot manipulation work against the Scarlet King, unfortunately, for him. So that's my thoughts, though. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'll go Yog Sothoth, but to be fair, I'd be lying if I said I know these guys intimately. So if you have a better understanding of the concepts of these characters, let me know in the comments below. That being said, I'll take this. We're at 6 minutes. I'll take a minute and a half to just bitch someone out real quick. Look, if you disagree with my take on something, that's fine, but don't try to argue for your character and then completely ignore statements, facts, all that for another character. There was someone in my Yoab versus ReZero video who just basically said, I think people who have not actually done their research on ReZero shouldn't talk about it because this. And I'm like, okay, look, I fully acknowledge I don't know ReZero as best as I should. That's fair. And then they said, then they made a comment saying, and by the way, regardless of Yoav being multiversal is just, wanked. And then someone else said, Yamamoto being multiversal, need to pack it in. Two people said basically, yeah, no, these characters aren't multiversal, which tells me that A, you have not read Bleach, or you have read Bleach, you don't understand Bleach, or you don't know the actual full history of Bleach, which is fine, but or you're glazing your own character because you like your character so much more than Bleach, than Yoabi, that you don't want to admit that they are multiversal. Whether or not he wins or loses is irrelevant. Just don't glaze your character and then downplay another character because you like your character more. Also, he didn't give me a goddamn answer for how he counters the Almighty, which not just sees every possible future, lets him choose it, but also nullifies abilities he sees in the future. He didn't give me any explanation how he countered that. So, yeah, don't argue for your character and then downplay the other character when you're clearly being biased in your own direction. So you don't do that. Anywho, I digress. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Later.